Good afternoon, Mr. Tan. Thank you so much for joining us here in the 3-Hour News Show. So you mentioned that our 63% of Indonesians agreed to get COVID-19 booster shots. Who are these respondents? Are they taken from the whole areas in Indonesia? Do they cover Indonesia as a whole?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here, and thank you for inviting Ipsos in this program. Okay, let me explain first. Actually, this survey is the Southeast Asia Ahead, we call it. It's actually a series of survey that initiated by Ipsos as to understand the evolving people or consumer behaviors and opinions, certainly during the pandemics in the last 2 years. And this is actually Ipsos-led study that was conducted in November last year, and involving 3,000 participants across Southeast Asia markets. Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam. Each country has 500 respondents. Yeah.
How did you select the samples? Is this sample from the major cities, or is this across Indonesia, including the tier 2 and 3 cities of Indonesia?
So this is actually, of course, for the Indonesia, predominantly it will be samples from Java Island, because that's the biggest populations in Indonesia. Across that, we have some part, I think about 10-15% coming from Sumatra, and another 10-15% coming from Kalimantan and Sulawesi. Yeah, so this is actually representing our populations between 18 to 54 years old in Indonesia and across other countries as well.
So from the survey, can you actually see what drives the trend to change? Because we also saw earlier that the majority of Indonesian people used to refuse vaccinations.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting, because earlier this year when we took the study, the outcome was, many people are hesitate about taking, these vaccinations earlier, right? But I think we all know, right? We've been hearing, I think Ms. has been hearing from various media. Many countries has been experiencing of the third wave of COVID as we speak now, right? Like country like UK, US, Malaysia, Singapore, and of course, driving this third wave is actually predominantly because of these new variants, Omicron. And certainly many Indonesians, upon witnessing this, on what happened in other countries, right? Logically, this driving most Indonesian, I mean, they wish to get a booster for their own safety, and of course to protect their family. Moreover, if we look at it now, by looking at our low number of daily cases in the last 3-4 months, right? And it begins to create a belief among Indonesians, at least, that the effectiveness of the first dose and the second dose, of the earlier vaccines they got, which can avoid them from, having a bad symptom if they get COVID-19. And certainly this is actually, again, become a sort of a booster for people to believe, okay, now I think this booster vaccine is very important for them to take it at the current situations. Yeah.
Okay. The survey also described Indonesia as highly conscious country compared to the neighboring Southeast Asian countries. How has it affected the vaccine enthusiasm toward the vaccination, especially that the booster is starting since a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very positive and very encouraging situations for all of us, definitely. And I have to give credit to government institutions like this KPC PEN, and also a lot of media here today, which constantly giving the right message about the COVID-19 situations and how people needs to be careful dealing with it, and it is important as well how actually they constantly counter the misinformations or hoax about the COVID-19 and the vaccination itself at the early stage, right? And this is actually is become is our key advantage compared to if you recall that other countries actually even till now in US they're still struggling and they're still struggling to convince half of their populations to get the vaccines immediately when the vaccine is ready. But I think unfortunate for Indonesia, these all the countermeasurements about the wrong information, the hoax at the early stage, definitely it helped drive consciousness level of the majority people in Indonesia. Not to mention about these campaigns done by governments through the social media, public influencers, or to boost the awareness of the public and the right information regarding COVID-19 and vaccinations. I think this is the key elements for why Indonesia having such a high consciousness level in this case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that they can actually filter information as well. So from the survey, anyway, Mr. Tan, 79% Indonesians are optimistic toward the economic recovery until at least within the next 6 months. So what are your thoughts about this, if you can relate it to the increased vaccine enthusiasm among the public here?
I think from our this Southeast Asia Ahead study through our tracking of these studies, it is so very obvious and it is a very directed. Yeah, when people get vaccinated, the first thing that actually changes is their confidence. It boosts their confidence, to do their routines or activities like usual, pre-pandemic situations, right? And if people do their routine or activities pre-pandemic situation happening again now, right? This will be definitely benefited, to overall business situations. People are start spending again. People are start going out again, and definitely because of that, this will impact positive on the national economy recovery, right? And again, I mean, many governments, I think central bank also predict that the economic recovery is pretty much on track this year, and it's going to be much higher than last year, if the situations remains. Yeah, I think that's a really directed between the vaccinations, the confidence, and the economic recovery. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Soeprapto Tan from Ipsos Indonesia, Managing Director, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts here in the 3 Hour News Show. Hopefully we hear from you again in the future soon.
Thank you.